So these both personalities are great personality, and their talk is about how we can get to Krishna, how we can get close to Krishna or take shelter of his lotus feet. So in the section we are reading, here are the prayers by the demigods. And what kind of demigods they are? They are controlling deities of the Pancha Mahabhut, which is the like basic elements, earth, water, fire, ether, air. So these elements, they are the part of that. So they are personified, and those personified demigods, they are praying to the Supreme Lord because they don't know what to say to the Lord, but they are praying, and they were unable to perform their universal duties. And that was the problem, actually. That's why they now want to pray, because there was no, they were even fighting among themselves. There was no coordination between those demigods. And that's why they were unable to perform their duties as they should have done. So that's why they are praising with folded hand. And they, in the beginning, we see in this chapter, we are like verse number 39 to 30, 39 to 43. So these verses actually begins prayer about the glories of the Supreme Lord, how the shelter, taking shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord is important, that they were telling about the glories of to take shelter of the lotus feet. So now with today's verse number 44, they are starting to pray to the Lord. And they are in the beginning, 44 and 45 verses, they are saying who is qualified to take the shelter of the lotus feet and who cannot take shelter of the lotus feet. So these two verses describe that. So the demigods, who are the personified deities of the Pancha Mahabhut, so they are saying that your lotus feet are unapproachable by the souls who are completely engaged by the thoughts of I and mind. So people who thinks in the term of I and mind, that this thing is mine, that thing is mine, this house is mine. So if the people think about themselves and the things related to their surroundings, those people actually can never approach to the Lord. They have to fix their consciousness first, then they can do that. So they are completely, those kind of people completely are engaged in these kind of thoughts. So they can never realize the God. Although Prabhupada is writing here in the translation that although your lotus feet are situated within their bodies, because we have Paramatma in our heart, and in the Paramatma also has the lotus feet. So lotus feet are right here in our own heart. But our problem is we are not realizing those lotus feet are presence of Supreme Lord in our own heart. And for that, we have to purify our consciousness. So those kind of people actually cannot realize this thing. And in the next verse, what we are going to read tomorrow, it says that there are so many offensive persons actually who are engrossed in the material activity. So those people, have so many desires, and those desires are not fulfilled. And that's why, they are all the time in anxiety. Those kind of people also cannot actually achieve the lotus feet of the Lord, or they cannot pray. At the same time, if you see that pure devotees actually, they can see your lotus feet because their aim is to relish the Leela's activities of the Supreme Lord all the time. They actually relish when they chant, when they read, when they hear, all the time. They feel presence of the Supreme Lord. So if the consciousness is purified, then it's not hard to realize the lotus feet of Krishna within ourselves. So only self-realized soul can do this kind of thing. So here demigods are describing two kind of people actually. One, two kind of souls who are unable to realize the shelter of the Supreme Lord. First thing is the materialistic people who are entangled by undesirable eagerness to in this material body. and they want to enjoy more and more with their own life and with their family members, with their friends, so they feel they are supreme, they don't need anything from outside. So, and second kind of people are those who are born by the desire of mind, aham mameti. So they both are unable to see your lotus feet. So Srila Prabhupada is writing in the purport, the whole Vedic philosophy of the life is that one should get rid of the material engagement of gross and subtle bodies, which only cause one to continue in a condemned life of miseries. Because if we there are miseries always, in this material world. So this material body continues as long as one is not detached from the false conception of lording it over material nature. And where the impetus comes, the impetus for the lording it over the material nature is the sense of I and mine. So I and mine starts everything, then we get this kind of conceptions and everything belongs to me. So all materialistic people are fully engaged in this undesirable eagerness to enjoy this material life with their gross and subtle both kind of senses. And they continue to run behind the sense enjoyment. And this enjoyment never finishes because we have more and more desire. Desire pops up like anything like waves of the ocean. We can see one goes and one comes, one goes and one. So it's just one desire after other desire. So it's like unending desires. And those kind of people, they never get out of the cycle of Janma Mrityu. So Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi, this kind of cycle, they continue. And they continue the life of miseries. Because the more we enjoy, actually, the more problems we get in this material life. So in this material world, there are miseries at every step, like we read it padam padam, padam padam, vyapdam na tesham. So every step we put in this material world, there are more and more vipdas, the difficulties and miseries. So what we have to do, actually, we have to give up this engagement, of the gross and subtle body. And because those desires, they are binding us in this material nature. If we don't have that many desires, then it's very easy for us to get out of them. So these kind of people, who say aham mameti, they in Bhagavad Gita, 16th chapter, it says, Ishwaro aham bhogi, siddho ham, palvan sukhi. So they say, I have so much wealth today, and I will get more and more. And so much is mine now, and it will increase more and more. I believe millionaire, billionaire, and trillionaire like that, they think that this will keep increasing like that. And they think that this guy is my enemy and I have killed him. And others' enemies also will also be killed by me. They say that I'm the Lord of everything. He says, I'm the bhogi, I'm the enjoyer. I'm the perfect, powerful, and I am happy. They also think like that. They think that I am the Lord of everything. I'm the richest man, surrounded by all the aristocratic family members and friends. What they think, no one is so powerful and happy like me. So they are this kind of thoughts they have, and they are fully deluded by their ignorance. And this ignorance actually kills us because the ignorance is the biggest problem in our life. Because this ignorance actually, ignorance is darkness actually, like Prabhupada writes on the cover page of the Bhagavad Gita, ignorance is the darkness and the Godhead is the light. So we have to go from the darkness to the light. That's why there is a Vedic shloka, Astoma Sadgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityuma Amratogamaya. So from the Asat, we have to go towards Sat. And from darkness, we have to go to the light. And from Mrityu, from this place of death, in Kali Yuga, everybody has to die. And in the Golok Vrindavan, nobody dies. There is no Janma, no Mrityu, no Jara, no Vyadi, nothing. So we have to go from this Mrityulok to the Amratam, where there is no death. So this should be our aim of this life, so how we can get out of this material world. So next, Prabhupada is writing, all these ideas reflect the philosophy of Aham Mama, the conception of that I am everything. Persons conducted by such conception of life can never be liberated from the material bondage. But even a person perpetually condemned to the miseries of material existence can get relief from the bondage if he simply agrees to hear Krishna Katha. So this is the only way out, by hearing the Krishna Katha. So Srila Prabhupada is writing later, in this age of Kali, the process of hearing Krishna Katha is the most effective means to gain release from the unwanted family affection and thus find permanent freedom in the life. So Prabhupada is writing here that we can get relief from this engagement if we simply agree to hear Krishna Katha. So Krishna Katha is so potent hearing. This is the highest test for which everyone should be actually enthusiastic to hear Krishna Katha. So I will like to say some like verses, which is from the Srimad Bhagavatam and other literature about I and mine, because this philosophy is described and those kind of people suffer. So Srimad Bhagavatam, there is verse in the fifth canto, fifth chapter, that one thinks I am this body, and in this body relationship, he is my master, he is my servant, she is my wife, and he is my son. This kind of thoughts people have. They think in the relation of this body actually. But all these conceptions are very temporary, because how long one is your wife or one is your father or one is your mother? They all come and go. So actually we are the Jiva soul. We are in this material world for millions and billions of lifetime. And we are continuing this life until unless we go back to the spiritual world. So we are just struggling in this cycle of birth and death. And ultimately, we have to, in this human form of life only, we can achieve, we can think about the Supreme Lord. Other form of life, we cannot actually get to the Supreme Lord. So that's why we say that this human form is very rare life. So we have to make 100% use of this material body and this material life and go back to Godhead. So we are gathered together like straws in the waves of ocean. So there are so many straws comes when the rainfall comes. All the straws goes in the ocean, and those straws and they get separated also. So that way the family and life and society, that way all the straws get together. We are just like straws on the ocean. What happens by the time, with the force of the waves, those straws get separated again, So that's the way our family members goes here and there. One dies, one goes in accident, things like that. So we are, our positions actually in this material world, our family members, our society, our friends, our relatives, they are all very temporary. They are not permanent. If you see to the eternity, how long we are in this material world. So this life is only fraction. So that's why Prabhupada all the time recommends us that we should make full use of this life. Whatever our life remained, we should use it properly and on try to get the lotus feet of Krishna. And we have to see how we can get it. And Prabhupada is recommending here just hearing Krishna Katha, reading Srimad Bhagavatam, associating with the devotees, and that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave us the 5 processes by which we can achieve that goal actually. So in this material world, we all are floating on the waves of the ocean of the nations. So ocean of the ignorance, we are all floating in that, and we have to get out of thing. So on the 5th canto, that chapter, the in between Sukdev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. So Sukdev Goswami is telling to Parikshit Maharaj, my dear king, if you still think that you are the king and I am your servant, and you should order me and I should follow your order. But this difference is temporary, that he is the king now and he is the saint. So this all the differentiation is temporary. Everyone is being forced by the laws of material nature. Therefore, no one is master and no one is servant. Nonetheless, if you think that you are the master and I am the servant, I shall still accept this. Please order me what I can do for you. So you can see how he's explaining Sukdev Goswami, who was the so elevated soul, he's explaining to Parikshit Maharaj that how our position in this material world is so temporary. And we can read also, there's a very nice song by Bhakti Vinod Thakur, all that in the song of Radha Krishna Bola 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 Re Sabai. Here he's saying, Miche Maya Ravashe Jacha Bhashe Khacha Hadu Dubu Bhai Jeev Krishna Das Ye Viswas Karale Aur Dukhanai कृष्ण बलवे जबे पुलक हबे झरबे अखी बलिताई राधा कृष्ण बोलो बोलो बोल रे सभाई. So Bhakti Vinod Thakur is saying that all men and women are floating like straws on the waves of this material nature, saying if they come to understand that they are eternal servants of Krishna. So that's a very hard to understand actually for the people who are not trying to be a devotee, not trying to serve a Lord, for them it's very hard that. And once we understand that, that will actually put an end to the floating condition, what we are floating in the waves of the ocean, as a straw. So that floating condition will be actually gone if we understand that we are eternal servant of Krishna and we have to serve him. If we can understand that, then this will go away. So in Bhagavad Gita also in 337, there is a very nice verse. Kamesha, Krodesha, Rajoguna, Samudbhava, Mahashano, Mahapapa, Vidyatem, Iha, Vairinam. The Supreme Personality of God had said, it is lust only, Arjuna, which is born of contact with the material mode of passion and later transformed into wrath, that's a krodha or anger, and which is the all-devouring sinful enemy of this world. So actually what happens, these desires actually, in the beginning we have kama. Kama means different kind of desire for sense enjoyment. So once kama is not fulfilled, then what happens? Then it gives rise to the krodha, anger comes. So this mahashano mahapap, this is the worst thing in the life, of any person, who, so desires actually we have to calm down on the desires. We should not desire too many things. Desire should go. Desire will never go. We should have purify our desires to Krishna consciousness. Because desires keep coming in the mind, So desires is not bad. But what kind of desire, they are for us or for to serve. If it is for to serve Krishna, they are the good desires. But if desire to enjoy ourselves, that's a worst desire. What happens due to the mode of passion, we desire many things. And according to our desire, what happens? The anxiety comes. And according to order of the Supreme Lord, material nature gives us certain things because Lord is so merciful, If we desire something, Lord tries to give that until unless it's very detrimental to us. And at the end of the life, at the time of we're dying, what kind of desire we have, accordingly, we get our next life. So this, if we pray to the Lord our whole life, then our desire will be purified when we die. So this whole life we are preparing for our death. So and at the death, it's decided what kind of next life we will get. So if we think about the Lord, Supreme Lord, at the time of death, we can get actually very good position and get chance to serve Krishna. Otherwise, like even the Bharat Maharaj who was in the Bhav stage, he has to become a deer in the next life. So we should this whole life we are preparing actually for our next life. For some time, we play in this material world like master and the servant, like actors are playing on the stage, that is the same condition we are playing. We are playing as a husband, as a son, as a friend. So we all like acting on the stage like this, because this whole material world is a stage for everyone, and they are playing their parts. But we should put to end to this nonsensical stage performance. We should come to our original constitution position. And what is our constitutional position? We are the servant of Krishna. So if we know that condition, then this will be known as Krishna consciousness. At the present moment, the real master is the material nature, because material nature runs under control of Krishna. That's why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 7.14, says, Devi Esha Gunmayi Mama Maya Duratteya. Under spell of material nature, we are becoming servants and master. But if we agree actually that everything is controlled by Supreme Lord and his eternal servants, like Mother Nature, then this conditioning life, this temporary life will go away. Narottam Das also, we have heard his many songs. He was so great Acharya, and he has written so many songs. And one song actually I like, that one is Hari Hari Vifale Javanama Gamainu Manushya Janma Paya Paya Radha Krishna Na Bhajiya Janiya Sunya Vishay Khainu. So this song is very good. So in this song actually, Narottam Das Thakur, who was although so elevated soul, but he is representing as a common man, and he's saying he's playing like he's one of us, like that, and he's lamenting that, oh my Lord, I have uselessly spoiled my life. Javanama Gavainu, because Manushya Janma Paya, although mercifully Lord has given me this Manushya Janma, but what happened? I have not worshipped you, Radha Krishna Na Bhajiya. Janiya Suniya Vishay Khauna. My Kainu, my like I'm drinking the poison every single day, knowingly. Janiya Suniya means knowingly I am taking this poison of this material world, which I should not have done. So people actually do not know that by enjoying the sense of gratification in this material world, they are spoiling their life actually. They are thinking, because many of us actually think that I have got this nice apartment, nice house, very nice car, very nice, beautiful wife. I have very nice income, very fat paycheck I get every month, very nice special position in the society, in the job. So all these material attractions, what they do, they make us forget the purpose of this life. Because once we get more and more opulences and the more beautiful wife, beautiful children, then we don't think about the Lord. So these things actually take away from us that kind of consciousness. And we have read Srimad Bhagavatam 558, which says that, it summarizes that Punsa Striya Methuni Bhavam, Tayoramito Hardaya Granthim Ahu, Ato Graha Kshetra Sipta Vitte, Janashamoho, Yam Aham Mameti. So this is the shloka where Aham Mameti word is used in Srimad Bhagavatam, and Prabhupada is writing the basic principle of this material attraction is the sexual life. Punsam Striya Methuni Bhava Metam. So the man hankers after a woman, and woman hankers after a man. So this is the whole philosophy of this material world. And when they actually engage in sex life, what happens? They become very much attracted to each other. Tayor mitho hardaya granthi mahu. So hardaya means in the heart. And that in the heart, that granthi means the tie. The tie gets more and more harder as we enjoy more and more in this life. So when they engaged in this life of engagement in the sexual life, the heart knot in the heart is tied more and more tight, actually. So the wife says, that I cannot leave you, and you are my heart and soul. And similarly, the husband also says, you are my life and soul, and I love you so much. So these all things goes on this material world, and people get more and more trapped into this material world, and they want to enjoy more and more, and they don't understand why Krishna has given them this rare human form of life. So Kandamakaran Maharaj also writes in one place that ahankar means this material attachment of false ego. So this false ego actually implies that we are this body, and we all the time think about the things which are related to this body. Aham mameti. So this false ego, there is false ego also, and there is purified ego also. So one must have purified ego. And what is purified ego? That means that we are the eternal servant of the Supreme Lord. And that kind of ego is actually desirable. Everyone should have that kind of ego. And that ego will lead us to the eternal life if we follow that. And eternally we will remember Lord Krishna. And we will remember that we are Krishna's servants. And our job is to serve him anyway. And anytime we can, we should actually all the time serve Krishna. That is our constitutional position. Jivara Swarupa Krishna Nitya Das. So then we can become very blissful and happy with blissful Krishna. Krishna is all blissful, always. And he is very blissful, always. And if we take shelter of him, we will be very happy all our life. So this life will be ecstatic at every moment. And every step, every step is a dance, actually. And every word is a song. What it is in the spiritual world. So we can have this kind of life. But we have to have attraction to that kind of life, because we are attached to this temporary world, temporary happiness, and we go behind that all the time. So that's why in Chaitanya Charitamrita there is Krishnadas Kaviraj writing a shloka, Krishna bhuliya jiva bhoga vancha kare. Forgetting Krishna, all the jiva souls actually, they want to enjoy this material life. Then what happens? Pasate maya tare japatiya dhare. So then Maya Devi is standing next to us, she slaps on our cheek very badly. So that's what happens to us. Each time we try to enjoy more, we get more rejection from the Lord, and the Maya is actually punishes us that way. So as soon as we deny Krishna, then immediately Maya comes and slaps us, But still we get behind the Maya. So Bhakti Vinod Thakur actually also he's just saying that simply by association of pure devotee, the liberation is guaranteed. Also, if we study Srimad Bhagavatam under a pure soul, we can directly associate with Krishna. So you see how important is the association of a pure devotee, that it can actually, we can feel like we are directly associating with Krishna. If we just associate with, because once we associate with devotee, we will learn how to chant. He will encourage us to learn. He will encourage us to hear Krishna Katha. He will encourage us to read Srimad Bhagavatam and come to temple, do the darshan of the deities. So all these things will happen, with proper association. So association is the most important thing, and we should actually try to get association as much as possible. And about hearing, we must hear from a pure devotee. If we read with ourselves, without any guidance, then what will happen? We will never understand the proper subject matter. And we can misinterpret also. That's why we can see the example of Brahmaji. Actually, he got bewildered. Although we know Brahmaji's whole body, like our body, is not like our body. His body is completely made of intelligence. But still, he could become bewildered. So we can see our own situation. Where we are. we are nowhere actually. So hearing is very important actually in our lives, and we should try to hear as much as possible. So these sound vibrations actually take us beyond this universe to the spiritual world once we hear the sound vibrations. So sound vibrations we have to hear properly. Like we can see when the rocket goes to the space, it goes with the 1400 or 1500 miles per hour. Then only it can get out of this material world and out of the gravity of this earth. Earth has gravity. So to get out, so similarly, this material world has too much gravity of the this sense enjoyment. So what we have to do, if we have to get out of this, then we very raptly we have to hear with rapt attention and with strong bhakti, we can actually get out of this material world. Otherwise, if we go slowly, let me enjoy also, and same time, let me chant more and more. It won't work like that. We have to really be very careful, because the only thing this material world, this Maya Devi, is very strong. It allures us all the time. That come on, enjoy. So that's what happening. So that's why the Bhaktivinoda Thakur actually in the Sharanagati prayer, he says, मानस देहे देह गेह जो कुछ मोरा अर्पिलो दुआ पदे नंद किशोरा संपदे विपदे जीवन मरणे दाय मम गेला तुयाओ पदवरणे मारो विराखो भी जो इच्छा तिहार Nityadas Prati Tuya Adhikar. So it's a very beautiful song actually, and we can read the from the Vaishnava song the meaning of this song. So actually, it's one of the greatest song actually. This mind, this body, his family, whatever may be mine, I have surrendered to your lotus feet, O youthful son of Nanda. In good fortune or in bad, in life or at death, all my difficulties have disappeared by choosing those feet of yours as my only shelter. Slay me or protect me as you wish, for you are the master of your eternal servant. If it is your will that I be born again, then may it be in the home of your devotees. So here Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying that if you have to give the birth again, then please, I should take birth in the family of a devotee. So, see, it's all Krishna's will, what he does, what kind of life he gives in the next life. But at least, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying that I may be born again, even as a worm, as long as I am remaining your devotee. I have no desire to be born as Brahma, averse to you. I yearn for the company that of that devotee who is completely devoid of all desires for worldly enjoyment. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, I'm praying that if I have to be born again, then give me the birth at the devotee's house, who is devoid of all the desires of this worldly enjoyment. He has only one desire to serve Krishna, that kind of thing. So father, mother, lover, son, lord, preceptor, and husband, you are everything to me. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, O Kana, please hear me. O Lord of Radha, you are my life and soul. So this kind of prayers, they are very effective. So Prabhupada is giving the solution how to get out. He's saying by the process of hearing Krishna Katha. Process of hearing Krishna Katha is the most effective means to gain release from the unwanted family affection and thus find permanent freedom in the life. The age of Kali is full of sinful reactions, and people are more and more addicted to the qualities of this age. But simply by hearing and chanting of Krishna Katha, one is sure to go back to Godhead. Therefore, people should be trained to hear only Krishna Katha by all means in order to get relief from all miseries. So, Prabhupada is writing this age of Kali is full of sinful reactions, and people are more addicted to the qualities of this age, this Kali Yuga. And what are the qualities of age? Which is given in Bhagavatam in first canto. Prayen alpa ayushah sabhya kala asmin yuge janaha manda sumanda matayo manda bhagyahi upradata. So in this Kali, in this age of Kali, people are short lived. Their life is very short, and they are quarrelsome. They fight with each other so much, and they are lazy. They are not hard worker, and they are misguided, and they are unlucky, and they are, most of them are always disturbed. So there is so much disturbances in their mind. So, but even in Kali Yuga, Prabhupada is writing, simply by hearing Krishna Katha, one can go back to Godhead. So it's so simple in the Kali Yuga. In other Yuga, we have to actually practice for many, many thousands and thousands of years, because their life span is so much. Like Parvati Mata in the Satyuga, she prayed to Lord Shiva to become her husband 60,000 years, where we don't have that kind of life. We have hardly 80, 90 years of life. So this is very easy in the Kali Yuga, that just by simply by doing Krishna Bhakti, hearing Krishna Katha, chanting Krishna's name, we can get out of this material cycle of birth and death. So many demigods even, they want to come in the Kali Yuga and be born as human being and get out of this cycle of birth and death. So in the fourth canto, we read the story of King Prachinbari. He was so much addicted to sense enjoyment, but then Narad Muni came and he helped him, and he told him the story of King Puranjan. So by the story, it was a story of actually King Prasinbari, but Narad Muni didn't want to tell him because he was king and he didn't want to offend him in any way. So preached him through a story that this King Puranjan was so much attracted to this, and ultimately what happened to him. So that way, King Prachinbari understood, and then he actually learned things from Narad Muni, and he actually corrected his life that way. And so similarly, there is another story which is in the 11th canto, story of a pigeon. So that one pigeon, male and female pigeon, they were in great love with each other, and then they make very nice place for them to live and have their child born, a small pigeon. So they were so much engrossed in bodily things, with each other. So what happened actually, they made a very nice nest, and then the lady pigeon became pregnant, and then they gave birth to a small baby bird. And then they were going out and in of that nest to bring some food for the baby bird. And that way, they were enjoying their life. They were going out and in many times. So one hunter noticed it. And when they both were out, then he broke that nest, and that small baby went in the net. And then what happened when mother came, saw that my baby, which she loves so much, she fell in the net. So without thinking anything, she also actually fell in the net, that I will rather die, with my baby than live in this world. There is no sense. And similarly, when the husband bird, male bird came, and he saw, oh my God, my baby and my wife both are there. What I'm going to do in this life now? So he jumped in that also. He was so stupid, that he couldn't think anything. This is the attachment in this material world. He just went there because of the attachment. in this material world also, we can ask anyone, which has which are in this material world. We ask them, what is the goal of your life? And everybody will say that I'm looking for happiness, to be happy. That's the goal of the most of the people. But this happiness, they do not know that how temporary is this happiness of this material world. It's very short actually, and it's not permanent in any way. So the goal of our life should be to take shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. And that Krishna is present in our body. We have to just realize it. And we have to practice sadhana bhakti as given by Prahlad Maharaj. So the Navada bhakti. And we have to get instructions from a bona fide guru. And that will actually take care of our body and mind. So this is very, there is another very nice song from the Gitavali, and he says, Hari Hari Vifale Jaman Kabaino. We already said few words about that, but that's the translation is very good. So I will like to read few stanzas of the translation, and we can understand what is the goal, what should be the goal of our life. O Lord Hari, I have spent my life uselessly, having obtained human birth and having not worshipped Radha and Krishna, I have knowingly drunk poison. The treasure of the divine love of Golok Vrindavan, has descended as the congregational chanting of Lord Hari's holy name. So see this Harinam Sankirtan came from the Golok Vrindavan actually. And why did my attraction for that chanting never comes about? We should think that always that why that I'm not attracted to this chanting of the holy name. Day and night my heart burns from the fire of poison of worldliness, and I have not taken the means to relieve it. So we should actually try to subside this fire of poison of this worldliness that I want to live in this material world and I want to enjoy this. This fire should be actually taken care. Then we can pray to the Lord with, with pure heart. O Krishna, who is the son of King Raja and became the son of Sachi, who became Lord Chaitanya, and Balram became Nitai. The holy name delivered all those souls who were lowly and wretched. The two sinners, Jagai and Magai, are evidence of this. So see the Jagai and Magai, what kind of sin they have not committed. They have committed all kind of sins. But even those souls were delivered by Lord Nityananda. So we can see Nityananda is Balramji. So Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the king of Raja, who is Krishna himself. So these two people, who are so big sinners, Jagai and Madai, they are evident of that thing that even the most sinner, the most of the most sinner, he can also be delivered. So what's wrong with us actually? We are doing little bhakti here and there, so we should actually be serious. And by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu, we can also, like Jagai and Magai were delivered, we can get delivered also. O Lord Krishna, son of Nanda, accompanied by the daughter of Vrishabhanu, please be merciful on to me now. Narottam Das Thakur said, O Lord, please do not push me away from your reddish lotus feet. For who is my beloved except for you? So he said, this is my shelter, the Lord reddish lotus feet of Lord Krishna. So we should actually, when we hear actually, so hearing is most important. And this hearing actually comes by taking interest in hearing and paying attention with actually great attention, rapt attention. And hearing should be done from a pure devotee. And so then actually we can realize the presence of Krishna in each word what we hear. And if we read the Bhagavatam, then in each page, in each paragraph, and each word of Bhagavatam, we can feel the presence of Krishna. But The problem is this, that no one can give rapt attention who is not a pure devotee. So pure person should have pure mind. And where we can get pure mind? By practicing the sadhana bhakti. Then slowly our mind will be away from this contamination on this material world. But see, the hearing, many people are not interested. Many of us actually, including myself. So what we have to be very greedy for the listening. We have to have jigyasa, that kind of lalasa in us, so we can hear Srimad Bhagavatam and listen very attentively. So if we read Bhagavatam, it will actually reawake our pure love for Krishna. So when we hear Srimad Bhagavatam, what happens? It cleans our desires for material enjoyment. The more we hear, our desires for enjoying this material world will go less and less. And persons who have developed the urge to hear, their life is actually very great. So listener must be actually very serious and very receptive to hear these things. In this material world, we see some people learn by hearing. Many people learn by seeing only, because they don't believe in listening. They say that until unless I see, I don't believe. So those kind of people, they because everything what we see is not right, because we get sometimes bewildered and misguided also, because with many things we don't see. We don't see oxygen, but we cannot say oxygen is not here. Without oxygen, we will die in 1 second. So many people say, I have not seen Krishna, so how do I believe in that? But those kind of beliefs are not good. And many people learn by experience only. They will get many kicks in the life, and then they get failures in every step, and then they come to Krishna. So there are so many different kind of people in this material world. But Prabhupada is writing here, just by hearing Krishna Katha, that is the best means, rather than by seeing it and by experiencing, getting the kicks. So when we hear actually the transcendental topics, they are called Shravanam. That means what we have to hear, And then once we hear, then we have to deeply contemplate on them, what I heard. And then once we do the mananam, that someone contemplating is mananam, we should tell it to our friends also and other devotees, what we heard. So that way we also, it's good for us also. We can remember the thing what hear, because many times we hear and we hear from one ear and goes away from other ear. We don't keep it in our brain, those things. So those things can stay if we tell the same thing, repeat it again and again, and tell to other devotees also. And the third thing is apply those kind of hearing what we did in our own life, because we have to be exemplary. We have to be good example. So when we become good example, that's known as nidhi dhyasanam. So apply in our own life, and then people see our life of the pure devotees, then they follow that. So this way we can embrace the path of transformation, which is much quicker if we follow these steps, and easier also. And it is much safer, because if we do ourselves, then what will happen? We have all the chances to get back into this material world again. So Vaishnava actually, other than these three processes of Shravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasanam, they follow one more method, which is the Vandanam. Vandanam is the prayers to the Lord. If we pray to the Lord, and then we hear that, Krishna, please give me chance to hear more and more. We pray like that, and give me service to your lotus feet, please, so I can serve you nicely. If you pray that, Krishna will definitely listen, and then he will give us all the chance to serve the Vaishnavas, serve the lotus feet of Krishna, serve our Guru Maharaj, and then our life will be very successful. So I will end here. It's still 5 minutes. So somebody has any questions, comments, reflections, we can discuss it now. Thank you very much for listening. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Very nice class. I like your quoting from all the song of the Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Narottam Das Thakur. That's, there's so much instruction in all this song. So all this song that you were mentioning, I really love this song. We used to sing that all the time.
Yeah, they are very beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a lot of instructions.
Lot of instruction, like all the acharyas are giving us, and you have given so much information about how we should always hear about Krishna with great attention and all this. I take it. I wish I can take it and just practice it. And a very nice class.
Yeah, we all should adapt those
Mhm.
bhajans. They are very beautiful. Thank you, Mataji.
Okay. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna Prabhu. Very nice class. Uh, I just have one question, Prabhu.
Sure.
Uh, yeah, so like in our religion, is saying like um, that Hari Namaiva Kevalam Kalu Nasteva Gatirannata. So like in other person, like one of the person I met, he was in Christian belief. So he was saying like, Jesus is the only way. There's, and he's also believing that like if you hate somebody, that is like similar to killing. But he don't believe that uh, animal killing is sinful. He's saying like only if you kill, like he was like man. He tried to mean like if you don't kill any human, that is okay. If you kill animals, that is not a sinful thing. Even if you think about hating somebody is killing. But I don't know, like, and he's saying like Jesus is the only way. And some other religion also said like Muhammad Prophet is the last messenger, then no one will come, and this is the last message from the God. Like, how can you like tell these people like, they only believe in the heaven, and they're trying to go to the heaven. Then I was saying like we don't want even to even go to the heaven. So like there
Yeah.
was like too many things. So
Yes,
lastly,
Mataji. What happens actually, because people were so degraded at that time, and it's a like Jesus Christ, Prabhupada said in his lectures that he was son of the God, but people were so degraded he cannot give them proper education at that time, because if you give a little child the education of master's degree or PhD, he will not understand anything, if he says that this is thing. So at that time, for them, because they were not so elevated souls, so that's why Jesus has to tell them in that language. Okay, so it's a gradual process. After following Jesus, they can get more purified and they can understand more and more. The same thing happened with the Mus with the Mohammedan religion. Muhammad, people were like just like much worse than animals even. So what can be done at that point? So they have to give education in that term rather than giving them big philosophy. So at least they can get little purified, and then they can elevate from that point. So this was the only purpose. It's not like, because Krishna is the father of everyone. That's why Jesus said, I'm son of the God. He never said I'm the God myself. So that's what is my understanding. But if anybody else want to say something about it, please come forward.
they're saying that if you hate somebody is killing, and they killed Jesus.
Mm.
I cannot like understand anything.
Yeah, that means we should not hate anybody. It's just like killing any other person. If you hate, so we should not hate actually.
Yeah, that is good.
Yeah, that's a good thing actually, because people had so much hatred from each other. At that point, now also people have so much hatred from each other. They cannot tolerate anything in this material world. So hatred we should not have with anyone.
At last, I just gave him the temple card. I said, okay, I cannot explain you too much because I have like little poor English. So you can come to the temple. They have like elevated person. They can explain you nicely if you come. I just invited him.
Hmm.
That's all.
Thank you for your nice point. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Anyone else
Thank
has?
you very much, Prabhu, for all the songs you quoted. Some of the songs we already learning from Vishnugada Prabhu. That was the
Uh,
plus point we had. So we always usually sing those songs. But yes, Narottam Das, whatever songs were there, through songs he was telling us so what is life and what is how to behave. Through songs also we know a lot of our songs. But how many people are thinking the meaning of the song? I don't know. So that was the sad part. To say I also love all the songs, and mostly I am into music only. And most of the songs they tell in our South Indian language, in this Narottam Das and other people they wrote. Everything tells about just pray Krishna and pray. What is it? Be in your spiritual thing, like that only. But still, we go for material life. That is the sad part.
it's our conditioning, Mataji. What can be done? Yeah, only by the kripa of the
Yes.
blessings of the
Where this
Shiva
association.
souls and our Guru
Mhm.
and Krishna, we can get purified at one point, and then we can pay more attention to these. But these songs actually help us in our life. We should read
Very,
those
very,
songs
very
and
much.
their meaning,
Yeah.
We should read at least one song every single day.
Yes.
There's so many nice songs, beautiful songs, and it's a great philosophy actually. It's not
Yeah,
just the
that's what.
songs. It is all pure philosophy of Bhagavatam. And
There's not necessary to sing in raga or anything.
no. We don't
Just
need
read
other.
that also. Reading that
Uh,
also, it has a lot of meaning.
yes.
So that's what everybody should see these songs. And sometimes like Mataji says, if somebody argues, I don't know whether we continue arguing or not. We continue to explain to them because their mind is set in some way. And she invited them to the temple, that's fine.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you very much, Prabhu, for the nice class.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Anyone else has any comment? Otherwise, we can close. It's already more than about 9 o'clock. So
903.
yes.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for a very nice class. Very wonderful. I'm going to listen to it again.
Thank you,
Very
Mataji.
Thank you.
Vansha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu
Loke eva cha patitanam
Yo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Kesh, Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.